Ooh, this couple is from the Philippines and they are new immigrants in Canada. Hey, welcome here. If you're from the Philippines and you're new in Canada, I just want to say welcome. Filipinos are a huge group in Canada. Did you know that they're one of the largest immigrant groups in Canada? They make up about 850,000 people. Okay, that's more than 2% of Canada's population. That's a really big number. Okay, here's how it compares to other groups. Okay, there are about 5% of Canadians are from China, 4% are from India, Philippines. Okay, so I mean, it's not quite as big, but it's still a very big number. Not only that, but it's growing pretty fast. Okay, between the years 2011 and 2016, the Filipino population in Canada grew 26%, and the rest of Canada only grew 5%. Okay, so actually they're growing pretty fast. That is what do Canadians say about immigrants? What do they really say? Now, you might sort of have this idea in your mind that, Canada is this like a heaven, an immigrant heaven. Everyone wants to go there and it accepts Canada, accepts everyone. It's just a wonderful place. That is true for the most part, I would say. But there is a large group of people in Canada that doesn't really like immigrants that much. Sometimes I hear, people say, oh, those Chinese people, or oh, those Indian people. Okay, sometimes I hear comments like that. Why? Because, well, I mean, I know a lot of different groups of people in Canada, so I hear those comments. You might not hear those comments because, most immigrants, in my experience, don't know other Canadians. As a teacher, I always ask my students, do you know any Canadians? Have you ever, been invited to someone's house? Have you ever had anyone in your house? No, most people haven't. So that's a problem that I'm trying to solve here at Mad English TV. That's why I've made videos like how to make friends when you come to Canada. Okay, so Canadians say different things about immigrants. But you know what? I have not heard anything negative about Filipinos. So I just want to say that is astonishing. I'm sure some people do say bad things about Filipinos. And hey, if you're a Filipino in Canada and you've been the victim of racism or any negative comments or feelings, I want to say sorry, on behalf of my country. I really hope that you can live a great life here in Canada, the life that you want to have. But it's astonishing that of all the different people groups, I've always heard some negative things, but I don't know why I haven't heard negative things about Filipinos. So I think the Filipinos, the Filipino population in Canada makes a great model, a model for other immigrants to Canada to follow. Okay, so I think there are three things that make Filipinos so I guess, I don't know, nicely adapted into Canada. In my recent videos, I was talking about this idea of assimilation. Some groups just don't really assimilate. I think Filipinos do a pretty good job of, just adopting Canadian lifestyles and that kind of thing, okay? So, I mean, one thing they do is they work really hard. Filipinos are some of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life. That is amazing. The second thing is most of them speak English. Okay, I would say about 90% of the Filipino immigrants I've met in Canada are conversational in English. I don't know. I don't know the exact number. It's just my guess. At least 90%, maybe more. Maybe 95, 100%. Okay, I've met some people who don't speak English that well, but most of the time they're at least conversational in English. So other groups wouldn't be that high. For example, people coming from Latin America, China, India, the percentage would be a lot lower. Now, the third reason why I think Filipinos sort of make for a great model of immigration to Canada is that they're not trying to change Canada in any way. My feeling is that most Filipinos just like Canada the way it is right now. And I think most Canadians are not afraid of Filipinos. They're not afraid that Filipinos are going to try to change anything. You know, in some of my recent videos on some other groups coming to Canada, I've said that Canadians are pretty apprehensive. Apprehensive means sort of fearful that, you know, maybe different laws are going to change, or that women are going to have to start covering their heads, or those kinds of things. Okay, there's a big group of people in Canada that really have those fears. But, you know, when it comes to Filipino people, I don't think there's any fear. If Filipinos suddenly, you know, got to like 50% of Canada's population, or even higher, they took the majority in a democracy. That's always dangerous, right? When one group takes the majority. But I don't think anybody's afraid that, I don't think anything would change, to be honest, if Filipinos reached 51%. I don't know. If you're a Filipino, let me know what would change if your people suddenly, you know, took over Canada. Would anything change? I mean, probably there would be a lot more Filipino food in Canada, which would be great because I love Filipino food. But, you know, I think these three reasons they really help make the immigration process easier for the immigrant and for the country. Okay, like if you speak English, makes it easier for you, and it's easier for Canadians. You know, if you're not trying to change Canada, the laws and stuff, it's easier for you and it's easier for Canadians. Okay, if you work hard, you contribute to, you know, Canadian society, the economy. So hey, I just want to say thank you for being such great immigrants. Now, I'm not trying to compare immigrants here. I'm not trying to say Filipinos are better than this group or that group. Look, all immigrants are welcome in Canada. They're all welcome. You know, maybe some just adapt a little bit better, or some maybe try a little bit harder. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you know you're welcome here. You know, I just think the Filipino model, it's a good model for sort of helping you to fit into Canadian life. But I want to know, do you know any Filipinos? Have you ever met any? I have been blessed to know a lot of Filipinos in my life. Actually, I lived with a Filipino guy for over a year. Just a great guy, just terrific. They're peaceful people. They're such kind people. They're honest people. They're peaceful people. So if you don't know any Filipinos, I would highly recommend getting to know some today. Let me know your answer to this question down there in the comments, and I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.